Hi, my name is Jo from the London Nutritionist, and I'm also the author of the low-fad diet. Now this week is London Marathon week and I've got quite a few clients that are doing it, so I'm really rooting for them, come on. But it's come to my notice that over the last couple of weeks, a few of them have been emailing me, asking me for just a recap of what's best to do in the run up to the marathon, particularly the day before and during the race. Now, most of them have already got their kind of plan in place and they know what they're doing on the training days, but it can be helpful to just have a little bit of a recap. So today I'm going to talk to you about what to do the day before and on race day to get you right the way through to the end. So the day before, we really need to optimize our carbohydrate stores. Well, I say our, but really I mean you. I have total awe for anyone who can run for longer than about 15 minutes. So yeah, it's not really me, it's not my thing, but I'm so impressed with anyone that can do it. So the day before, carbohydrate stores are the key. We want to make sure that you're topping up really, really regularly. Now, we don't want any tiredness or bloating or anything like that. So it's a good idea to kind of spread your meals out throughout the day and eat little and often. Choose carbohydrates that you are used to. Now is not the time to experiment. You know, you've done your training, you know what works for you. That is what you're doing. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, and some snacks in between all need to have some carbohydrate in them. The other thing we really need to be careful about is making sure you are properly hydrated. So topping up your hydration stores ready so that you are primed for the following day will be really important. Hydration is so important for managing your temperature, and actually if your temperature gets too high, it will really affect your energy levels. Even 2% dehydration can really affect your performance. So keeping topped up throughout the day is important, but you need to get ready the day before. This means drinking plenty of fluids throughout the day, and you can check what's going on inside your body by looking at the colour of your urine. It should be pale straw colour. If it's any darker, you need to drink more. If you are going to the loo really, really often, you've topped up enough. You need to just back off a little bit. So on the day, the most important thing I can say is stick to what you know. Do not try anything new. You know what works for you already because you have been doing it the whole way through your training. But we need to make sure that if you can eat, if you're not too nervous, you really should. So about 4 hours before the run starts, that means getting up quite early, have a good breakfast with some carbohydrate in it. Things like low glycemic index porridge and granola, maybe some wholemeal toast with peanut butter. Those kind of things work really well. Now go with what works for you. What we don't want is for you to have a massive stomach full of porridge just as you're about to start the race. So if you need a little bit longer or a little bit less to digest that bowl of porridge, you do what works for you. Now that slow release carbohydrate is going to get into your bloodstream nice and gradually so that you have a steady drip feed of carbohydrate for when you're starting the race. Now also, about an hour before you start, you should probably top up with something a bit more medium glycemic index. So that's going to get into your bloodstream a little bit quicker. Something like a cereal bar works really well here. Now back to your hydration, which is so important on race day. We need to pre-hydrate. That means rehydrate before you dehydrate. I really can't stress this enough, okay? Now your urine should be pale straw colour. Check it. If it's any darker, drink some more. You need to sort of in the last 2 hours before you start running, try and aim to have about 500 mils of fluid so that your body's fully hydrated before the race. Now, during the race, the gun goes off. You are ready and you are running, which is so exciting. And hopefully there'll be lots of people there cheering for you too. Now, this part of the race is usually the easy part. Everybody's excited and you're fit and you're ready to go. This is what you've been training for. But don't get complacent. As soon as you start running, I would recommend sipping an isotonic drink. So an isotonic drink gives you some glucose, and it also gives you some electrolytes as well as rehydrating you very, very quickly. So again, this is about pre-hydrating before you become dehydrated. Now, with an isotonic drink, you may be using gels as well. Do what works for you, but the drinks are great because they hydrate as well as giving you that delivery of energy. Now, don't drink the isotonic drinks all at once. This will just lead to a sugar spike followed by a crash, and you do not want a crash at this point in the race. So aim to sip about 500 mils over the course of an hour. So that's a few sips every 10 minutes. And that way you get this constant delivery of glucose into the bloodstream that your body can draw on straight away, as well as keeping your hydration levels up. You need to aim for about 500 mils of fluid every hour that you're running. Now the weather on Sunday looks pretty good for running the marathon. Not too hot, not too cold, hopefully no rain, but you still need to think about how much you are sweating. If you sweat a lot, then you will need to drink more water, and hopefully you'll have figured out what you need to do throughout your training. But just as a general rule, around 500 mils for every hour that you run. Now, I've had clients that have done the marathon in previous years, and one of the things that quite a few of them complain about is actually being really hungry. Now, although you're keeping your energy levels up with things like isotonic drinks and gels and that kind of thing, actually getting hungry and needing some food and having a rumbling stomach is a really common problem. And I recommend taking things like cereal bars along the way, which are easy to carry. After you finish is an issue too. There's a lot of carbohydrate that gets used when you are running a marathon, and it can take weeks to replenish those stores. So if you're planning on cycling to work the next day, maybe rethink that. Now, eating high GI carbohydrates straight after the race, as you know from your training, will help to replenish your carbohydrate stores. But really, you've done it. This is what you've been training for. You can go and have whatever you want. I hope you enjoyed my video on marathon nutrition, and really good luck if you're running the marathon this week, or any marathon in fact. If you'd like to get in touch and book a consultation, you can do so via my website, which is thelondonnutritionist.co.uk. If you liked this video, you found it helpful, please like it and do subscribe, because I'm doing more videos on all sorts of things in the future. And if you've got any questions or comments or ideas for future videos, please just let me know in the comments below.